Thank you very much for having me. I am Professor Danny Myburgh. I am one of the leading experts in South Africa in terms of digital forensics and the handling of cyber incidents and cybercrime. What we're seeing the largest cyber threats are in South Africa is what we're also seeing internationally. At the top of the list, we're seeing business email compromises. A business email compromise is basically where a perpetrator gains access to your email account and then read through your email without you being aware of it. They are then able to identify financial transactions and they insert themselves in that communication. For example, if you are dealing with your bank or you're selling a house, they will send an email to the party that is making payment and redirecting that funds into a newly created bank account. We're estimating that we're losing about 300 million US dollars per month globally on business email compromises. Then we're also seeing the type of cyber crimes that is hitting the media very prominently. So, in that regard, we've got data exfiltrations and ransomware attacks. This is where a hacker breaks into a network, steals data, and extort the data owner for returning that data or not publishing it. Or they encrypt the environment and then you're unable to actually use your computer systems. Predominantly, these types of crimes are being perpetrated by social engineering exercises or by credential harvesting through phishing expeditions. That is where a hacker would send you an email and they get you to the point where you then enter your password and user account detail on the wrong site. Globally, if we look at the available statistics from global law enforcement, we see that the perpetrators are focusing on individuals typically over the age of 50 years because of the fact that those individuals are focusing on investments as well as they are high net worth individuals or people that has already drawn on pension funds. But we also see quite a large focus on high net worth individuals as well as targeting of organizations, for example. Those type of attacks, they either focus directly on the person or they would prepare for the attack. We've referred to it as big game hunting, where they would select an organization beforehand. We see typically that the hacker would spend up to 3 months in preparing for that attack, gaining information regarding an organization before perpetrating the actual attack on that organization. In terms of individuals, where we see the focus is more on online scams or investment scams, such as crypto scams, there we have a situation where the hacker would work through your social media, gather information regarding you as the individual, and then they would utilize that intelligence to style the attack. So, for example, you won't see that if they specifically focus on me, they won't send me an advertisement for winning a wedding dress, for example. They would rather be sending me something like a free 4x4 trip or a mountain bike competition that you can win, for example. They utilize that and they play into your interest, and that's how they are successful with these type of attacks. In South Africa, we've got limited statistics on the cyber incidents. We have, however, started compiling statistics since 2020 already. And what we are seeing is a couple of very interesting aspects. In the first place, we're seeing that we differentiate between cyber incidents where the data was encrypted, referring to a ransomware attack, and secondly, where there is a cyber incident where the hacker actually steals your data, so a data exfiltration. The cyber incidents in terms of ransomware attacks, where your data is actually encrypted, we're seeing that it's decreasing. And the only reason that we have for that is that we've seen that organizations over the past couple of years has become aware of the fact that how devastating an attack can be where your data is encrypted and you can't access your systems. So the combating of that relates to that you have proper and healthy backups. So organizations has increased their capability in terms of protecting their backups, and we are able to recover organization a lot better. However, while the hackers have seen that they've been unsuccessful with the ransomware attacks, they've now increased the attacks where they are actually breaking into the environment and stealing your data. So the data exfiltration increased quite drastically. The situation that we've got there is when a hacker has stolen your data, you have no alternative than to report it to the regulator, report it to data subjects. Some of the stats that we are seeing is aspects such as the average time that a hacker is in an environment before committing, executing a ransomware, for example, is about 117 days, which is quite alarming because it's a long period for a hacker to go undetected in an environment. We're also seeing that they are taking less data, but more focused data. So the average quantity of data that the hackers are stealing is about 77 gigabytes. Previous years, we saw that they were taking as much as 300 gig, for example, which made their actions a lot easier to detect. With the smaller data amounts going out, it's a lot harder to actually detect that. The reason for that is we are seeing that they are more sophisticated with the aid of artificial intelligence, botnet attacks, for example, where they're automating that attack and they are actually searching within the environment for very specific documents. So they'll be searching for documents containing the word price or formula or tax, for example. So the quality of data that is going out is a lot better. If we look at some of the available research projects in South Africa, we're seeing that on average, cyber incident costs an organization in the region of about 6.5 million rand to actually resolve that situation. Furthermore, we also see that some of the statistics that we could gather was that when there's a cyber incident, it is on average about 11 to 21 days of business interruption that organization face, and then about 47 days to actually resolve that attack and get back to a point where you were prior to that attack. What we are noticing is that a lot more cases are being reported in South Africa, mainly because of the reality of the POPI Act, or the Protection of Private Information Act, that came into play, and also because of the fact that a lot of individuals start talking about these incidents on social media. In past years, when the POPI Act was not enforced in South Africa, we saw that organizations would actually opt not to report it to prevent that reputational damage that's associated with it. Currently, that is a high risk attitude for organizations to take, because if you are caught out, there is very, very steep penalties that can be attached to that, and even criminal charges that can be brought against an organization. We are seeing that the criminals are using artificial intelligence and technology a lot more in their attacks. One of the main aspects that we are seeing is artificial intelligence in the sense of utilizing deep fake videos. A person's face and somebody else's voice. They would, for example, take my face, record a portion of my voice, or download a prior recording of me, and then utilize that to contact my financial director, instructing them to make a specific payment. We're also seeing that they are utilizing the deepfake videos for scams such as romance scams, pretending to be a famous actor and then contacting individuals, influencing them to make a payment or to contribute money to a specific cause. Another phenomenon that we are observing is what we refer to as the SAPS, or the police scam. Very short, in this type of attack, perpetrator would contact an individual, typically over a face call, so that you can see that they're actually wearing a South African Police Services uniform. They would then inform you that they have intercepted a local or international parcel that you ordered and paid for, which in actual fact never happened. But in that parcel, they then discovered drugs or falsified funds or falsified identity documents. In that regard, they would then convince you to say that they are on their way with an arrest warrant to come and arrest you. However, they first want to investigate the matter, and if you are prepared to, one, download an application for them to actually monitor you, and just to explain, that application that you're downloading is actual malware that they are convincing you to install on your device, and they're actually spying with that application on you or intercepting you when you are accessing your bank account, for example. On the other side, they also convince you that if you are prepared to pay over the funds from this account that you utilize to make the payment for this parcel, if you transfer that funds into a trust account that the police hold, they would postpone the arrest while they are conducting the investigation and then refund you afterwards. So we've had clients that was kept under so-called house arrest for up to a week, not permitted by the hackers to leave their house, and they had to check in twice daily with a face call to show that they were still in their house. We are seeing that they are playing on the emotions and the fears of individuals, and then also people that want to comply with the legal instruction from a law officer, for example. I know of cases where the perpetrators has phoned individuals pretending to be from a specific bank, from a foundation, and we're also seeing it's not just one person that would phone you. They'll utilize a number of different individuals to phone you, each aiming to obtain a specific portion of information on you. That information is then utilized to either do a phishing attack against you, or in that same social engineering call, they would attempt to move you towards the point where you're logging onto your bank account, giving them specific information, assisting them to actually perpetrate the attack against you. One of the most devastating scams that we are seeing that's on the increase in South Africa is scams where they're utilizing cryptocurrency. So it's investment scams. They are advertising it on social media, for example, on Facebook, as well as channels such as Telegram, for example, where they've got investment clubs, folks, where you could join the club. There's quite a lot of hype being built up by the perpetrators where they actually pretend to be some of the participants in that club, and they are coming reporting that they were able to double their money in 4 or 5 days, for example. So all of this is coming down to a scam. We are seeing that they are utilizing aspects such as religion, where they bring in every morning a verse from the Bible, or they are utilizing your home language, for example, Afrikaans, doing it in Xhosa, doing it in Sesotho, for example, where they are trying to convince you that this is a legitimate transaction. How it works is basically they convince you that you need to go to your bank and convert your normal currency into crypto assets or crypto coins. You are then requested to transfer those crypto coins to one of their wallets. As soon as you've done that, the criminals then actually has already stolen your money. They transfer that unbeknown to you out to their own hidden wallets. We are unable to trace that cryptocurrency or to recover it. And the criminals then continue with the scam in terms of they will present for you, for example, that you are making a lot of money. They are very sophisticated. We seeing that they actually allow you to create a user account on their platform, and you can actually trade. It looks like you're trading your cryptocurrency in and out, but it's all just fictitious. In the back end, there is no current cryptocurrency in those platforms anymore. They've stolen that from the very initiation of that scam. We recommend that individuals, organizations rather invest in something like a password manager where you've got a very strong password and you save all your different passwords. Then also utilizing aspects such as two-factor authentication. If you at all have online mail accounts, make sure that you optimize all the security settings on it. In terms of devices and operating systems, always update your device to the newest version. The reason why they're bringing out these security patches is to improve the security of that device and also to help. It is also not best practice to click on any link that you receive via an email, for example. Make sure, verify those shortcuts that you're supplied with, or independently go to a site rather than utilizing the link that was sent to you. Be very, very careful for those type of links, because that's the way in which the criminals get you to actually click on their link and go to their bank account instead of the real bank account. And lastly, if you receive an OTP, just make sure that you don't share that with anybody over the phone. What we are seeing is that the perpetrators are using what we refer to as man-in-the-middle attacks. They will log in or attempt to log into your bank account. They would then have you on the line or phone you beforehand and inform you that they are actually from the bank or from the financial institution They are busy assisting you. There might have been fraud detected on your environment, and they will then, while logging into your bank in the background, tell you that they are sending you OTPs. It's actually the activity that's generating those OTPs. You then receive it, download it, and give it to them over the phone, allowing them to log into your actual account.